Welcome to the Aviva Stadium in Dublin for Ireland against Japan. Remember that the Brave Blossoms memorably beat Ireland when they hosted the Rugby World Cup in their own country 2 years ago. Ireland gained a modicum of revenge here in Dublin last July when 3,000 fans were in attendance. A lot more here, expected around 38,000 for this lunchtime kick-off in Ireland. And just fabulous to see crowds back in big numbers for these autumn internationals. The Principality Stadium in Cardiff was rocking for the visit of New Zealand last week, and a sizable crowd at Murrayfield enjoyed watching Scotland score 10 tries against Tonga in the sunshine in Edinburgh. Well, the weather today, it's pretty mild. The wind is blustery and gusting, and there was a little bit of drizzle in the air a few moments ago. Looks like it might have cleared, thankfully. Well, Ireland lead the head-to-head 8-1 with Japan's sole victory coming famously in the pool stages of the 2019 Rugby World Cup. Ireland and Japan also met in a mini-series in Japan in 2017. Ireland won 2-0. And Ireland last played Japan in July and won here in Dublin, and they've met 3 times in Ireland so far. It's 3-0 to Ireland in this country. They first met in Dublin at the 1991 Rugby World Cup, one of 3 World Cup clashes. Well, Japan were beaten here in Dublin in the Northern Hemisphere summer by 39 points to 31. It was the 9th meeting between the teams, and Japan have won just once, but of course it was the big one at the World Cup in Japan. Both sides making the quarter-finals and both sides going out at the quarter-finals. When Ireland and Japan played here on the 3rd of July this year, the lead changed hands no fewer than 7 times, with Ireland just edging the try count by 5 scores to 4. Japan's last match just a few weeks ago when they lost narrowly to the in-form Wallabies 32-23 in the Denko Dome in Japan. But Australia led by just 4 points with 5 minutes to go. So Ireland up against a tough test today, although the Wallabies did outscore Japan by 5 tries to 2. And it's excellent to see such a strong sprinkling of Japanese faces in this Aviva crowd today. Hard to believe it's 6 years now since Japan carried out the miracle in Brighton when they beat South Africa 34-32 in the World Cup in the English coastal resort, thanks to Carney Hesketh's last-minute try. And of course at the 2019 Rugby World Cup, Japan beat both Ireland and Scotland to make the last 8. What lies ahead for them in a pool with England and Argentina in France in 2023. And here comes Japan, led by their captain, Peter Labuschagne. Now the skipper with Michael Leitch still in the squad. They're trying to keep him going to a 4th World Cup. Leitch, who might not get as much game time as previously. And there is Matsushima, the fullback, Kotaro Matsushima, one of the real stars of the World Cup when he scored 5 tries, played on the wing against Ireland. And we all know how this Japanese side likes to play. Very high tempo, high ball and play time. And here comes Johnny Sexton, his 100th cap for Ireland. Sexton, the 7th Irishman to reach the ton, the second out half, following Ronan O'Gara. Well, halfway through a World Cup cycle, and Ireland meet their nemesis from the last World Cup, Japan, who doomed Ireland to a quarter-final against New Zealand, and a crushing defeat and the usual quarter-final exit. In France in 2023, Ireland will meet South Africa and Scotland in Pool B, another sticky-looking pool, with another possible quarter-final with New Zealand to not look forward to at all. Well, all involved in this series continue to communicate the message that racism has no place in society and is not acceptable in rugby, in sport, or the world we live in. Rugby against racism. And now Presidential salute, and there he is, the President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins. Well, Ireland have been in camp since last Tuesday, so 11 days together prepping for this game. Andrew Porter has switched back to Loosehead and starts there for the first time. Tadhg Furlong and Jack Conan started all three tests for the Lions against South Africa. Tadhg Beirne was on the bench for two of them. In the backs, it's cap number 100 for captain Johnny Sexton, and it's a further test lion, Bundee Aki, alongside Gary Ringrose in the centre. Robbie Henshaw, yet another starting test lion, is out injured. Well, a spread of nationalities runs through the Japan pack. Lux, Cornelsen and Moore are Australian-born, and Captain Lapis Labuschagne is of South African stock. Kazuki Himeno carried really well against Australia 2 weeks ago. In the backs, the wonderfully talented Kotaro Matsushima is at fullback. Lafayette and Nakamura is the same centre pairing that troubled Ireland in this stadium in July and at the World Cup. Well, the Irish bench is rich in experience, and Dan Sheehan could make his international debut. Alongside me is former Irish international Alan Quinlan. How do you see this one setting up, Quinny?
It's a tricky test for Ireland. A little bit of the unknown, I think. A lot of the players undercooked with their provinces. Japan haven't played a lot of games since that World Cup, but they showed a couple of weeks ago against Australia how dangerous they are and how dynamic they can be, and when they get speed of ball, they can really hurt any team they play against. So that's the key for Ireland, try and slow down that ball a little bit and control the tempo of the game, because Japan are a dangerous proposition. They scored 4 tries here in over the summer.
There's the referee from Georgia, Nika Amash-Ukeli. His first international was Wales against Canada.
We wait for the official call, not now. Here, please.
So it's the Brave Blossoms, the land of the rising sun, versus Deep Purple. You never know, we might get an explosion of smoke in the water at some stage. Not quite sure what colour those Irish shirts actually are. Is it bruised blueberry, masticated maroon? It's certainly different. And it's not the green shirt that Johnny Sexton might have liked to play in on his 100th cap, and he gets a touch on the ball there. And the referee decides that it has not gone backwards, it has gone out of play though.
Yeah, the ball is stripped there by Matsushima. A little bit isolated, Sexton. Maybe there was a Japanese hand in there that Ireland have the throw in here. A little bit of hesitancy. I think Andrew Conway was letting him, hoping that Sexton would claim that, but they've got the line out.
Ronan Kelleher, 4 tries against the USA in July with the throw to the line out. Of course, Kelleher trained with the Lions, and that's a good drive, and Kelleher gets the ball away. And there's Bundee Aki, one of those typical pile driving runs in midfield from the test line. Johnny Sexton looks for Ringrose in behind him, and now it's Gibson Park under a lot of pressure. Tamura comes in for Japan. Matsushima up from fullback, but Ireland regain possession through Josh van der Fleer's added a real carrying aspect to his game. Another layer in recent times with Paul O'Connell, now the forwards coach. Gibson Park for Sexton. James Lowe in the middle of the park there, and he's explosive. His defence has been a little bit questionable at times in an Irish shirt, whether green or burgundy or purple or whatever, and that is a horrible pass that misses out 5 or 6 Irishmen.
No, it's okay. 10.
Yeah, it's a little bit inaccurate there, that pass in the end, but really precise from Ireland there, aggressive. James Lowe trying to get through the line. Gunter just stops him, holds on to that leg, and then gives it to Porter. I think James Lowe, he pulls back in the hands, doesn't he? He thinks it's a pass for somebody outside.
That was never straight from the hooker Sakari.
Not straight.
Says the Georgian referee. And this high-tech world, Quinny, we've got robots on Mars, men on the moon, and still we have teams who have shirts with unreadable numbers, like Japan, except in close-up. Zebra and Biarritz, serial offenders.
The Specsavers scenario for some of us. Maybe we're starting to wear a little bit, but sometimes it's the pace they play with Japan, isn't it? You can't. It's just speed of movement.
Maybe the numbers are just a blur, and that's it. Just Japan's 4th test since the World Cup 2 years ago. 3 defeats, 28-10 to the Lions, 39-31 to Ireland, and 32-23 to Australia 2 weeks ago. Here's James Lowe, bit of space in there behind for Lowe to explore.
Japan, come back! Japan, come
and
back!
it's Tamura with a long kick downfield. Keenan, Ireland just getting their compass bearings a little bit wrong there. They have it now, and here is Tagburn, another British and Irish Lion, and Johnny Sexton put under all sorts of pressure by the Munsterman. Flat path, Bundyaki, there's space there now, here's Conan, James Lowe's away, Gibson Park on his shoulder, Lowe will not meet his Leinster teammate. And what a sizzling start to this international for Ireland with James Lowe, such an incredible record for Leinster, punching for Ireland.
Well, it's why he's back in the team, isn't it? Had defensive issues in the first couple of caps, but this is brilliant from Ireland. Lovely pass. Aki gets through the gap. It was Humenu who just stood down a little bit there. Soft hands then. He just got too tight. It was Gunter. And then he gives a lovely soft pass. Great finish from Lowe.
How much confidence must Jack Conan have now, having started all 3 tests in the summer for the Lions, delivering the killer pass there for James Lowe. He scored 34 tries in just 55 games for Leinster. He also scored a try in his debut for Ireland against Wales. And the perfect beginning for him and for Johnny Sexton on his 100th appearance for Ireland. 6 Lions tests as well for Sexton, 36 years of age now, the former World Player of the Year. Debut against Fiji at the RDRS in the pouring rain in 2009 at age 24. And here he is 12 years later, hitting the ton. Can he add to his total of 925 points for Ireland? Still a long way behind Ronan O'Gara. So Sexton, the ferocious competitor who really came through in 2009 in that semi-final of the Heineken Cup against Munster when he came on for Felipe Contepomi. Leinster knew then they had a cracker on their hands, and it's Leinster men combining there for Ireland's first try.
Yeah, I think the key though, Robbo, is the pass from Gibson Park. It just takes out Gunter. He just looked in a little bit and the ball went right across him. Aki gets into that little gap, and then it's just soft hands and Lowe's away.
Restart from Yu Tamura, and James Lowe seeing plenty of the ball, and he's got a big beam. James Lowe manages to bump off Anagaki, the Japanese loose head, and away come the crushed cranberries of Ireland.
9, use it, you got a ball.
Gibson
9.
Park. Conor Murray is on the bench for Ireland today. A number of Ireland captains and Lions captains on the Ireland bench. They've got tremendous depth of experience there. 479 caps of Lion weight amongst the replacements. This is Nagari, 5'5", just over 11 stone, the diminutive number 9. And Matsushima puts the little drill kick across, and Lowe's going to have to watch this one, and smashes the ball downfield and away.
Yeah, he did really well there. He was waiting for the ball to run out over that end line. Of course, you can't touch it down now because it's a dropout, so he's got to clear it. It's good defence from Ireland there because they actually slowed down a couple of rucks there. Nagare wants it quick. Ireland stopped him at source there and forced Matsushima into that kick into the backfield.
Of course, teams have learnt now from those goal line dropouts. You can drop a goal from there. Buda Chamberlain in the United Rugby Championship and George Ford in the Premiership, amongst a number of players who have tried that with success.
Don't add up. Just sort out the numbers as you see them, all right? 2, 3, that's fine.
Very good young referee. Amashu Kelly from Georgia. A little move round this blind side. Nagari finds support. Tackle from Tadhg Furlong, and Ireland are away here through Gibson Park. Massive width of that to Keenan, and they're going to get caught here, Ireland, inside their 22. Jimeno goes in, alongside him is James Moore, who started all 5 games for the hosts in Japan in the World Cup. And off goes Andrew Porter. playing the loose head side for the first time as a starter for Ireland today. 12 starts at tight head, switching across this season. Gibson Park. Good chase by Ireland. Andrew Conway gets a flapping hand in the air.
No come by Ireland.
No, Conway did brilliantly, didn't he? He's so aggressive, enthusiastic in those kicks.
No come.
Little peel around the front here. Nagara just back inside, and they just lost the ball here in the tackle. And watch Gibson Park. He hears across the field. Look for space, and then had no choice but the box
really
kick.
Good, guys.
Great
Continue
contest there. Ireland just knocked it on. He's pleased with that. He'll want to get ball in hands, Andrew Conway, but that was his job there, and he did it brilliantly.
Well, this should be, potentially, going forward in the future, a great Ireland front row. Porter 1, Kelleher 2, Furlong 3.
Hold.
Let's see how they get on today. Nagara down the blind side, tackle from Gibson Park. Tracked across well, here's Jimeno. And the master poacher, Tadhg almost gets there. Had his fingertips on the ball for a millisecond. Nagari was under pressure while trying to get that kick in, and it's taken by Andrew Conway. Started both games against Japan in that mini-series in 2017. Josh van der Fleer. You can see he's a more powerful ball carrier these days. Here's a man who's carried partly all through his career. Bundy Aki, whether for Connacht, Ireland or the Lions. Johnny Sexton again, and they're trying to create some width on the outside channels. Here's Ringrose now. Low, Tadhg Furlong. Beautiful hands from Furlong. Sexton, Josh van der Fleer. Oh, it's Bundy Aki. Little pop pass from Tadhg. And Jamison Gibson Park puts it in front of Andrew Conway. And a try for each of the wingers here as Ireland exploit the full width of Dublin.
That's a tremendous score from Ireland. Brilliant hands, great accuracy in the pass. Lines are running. Lovely little kick at the end from Gibson Park. Aki thought he was away, did the sensible thing, protected the ball. Lovely little wraparound pass there. Labashakni bit down there, space for Sexton, keeping the ball alive, something that we could criticise before. Lovely offload again, and watch this from Tadhg. The cover is there from Matsushima. He didn't panic here. Space in behind, great accuracy in that. Ball sits up, lovely for Conway. We spoke a minute ago about him chasing kicks. He'll have loved that. Fantastic rugby from Ireland.
3 tries in 3 appearances at the World Cup for Andrew Conway's 11th try for the Munster man for Ireland. But he did thread that so splendidly through that little eye of the needle gap. Jamison Gibson Park. 12 Leinstermen in the starting 15. And they've made a pretty good fist of it so far.
Yeah, they've been superb. Over 11 minutes gone, and really aggressive, accurate. 1 or 2 little inaccuracies and some passing early on the first couple of minutes, but they look to have real zip in their clean-outs and their carries.
Just thinking, Quinny, as an Ulsterman and a Munsterman together in commentary, if Ireland had lost this match today, we could have blamed Leinster.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
the way they've started, we're not going to have that luxury.
Brilliant. They've been really good. Okay, it's a long way to go, and Japan haven't had any ball, and I think that's the tactic when you play a team like Japan. Hold on to it, don't give it away cheaply. They'll certainly have their moments. They look a bit shocked at the moment under the post.
I don't think I've ever seen Johnny Sexton take so long over kicks. He's taken the maximum allowed time, but it's certainly working. And that was the scruffier kick of his first 2, but they've both gone over.
It started with Lowe, didn't it? It just got the pass away, keeping it alive there. Quick rucks each time. That's the key. It's hard to defend that. Get your line set. In the end, Conway, ball set up lovely for him.
James Lowe, it's a really solid start to this game, popping up all over the field. Gibson Park to Tadhg Furlong, who started the first 6 test matches for the British and Irish Lions, cemented his place in Lions folklore, really. Gibson Park. Again, Ireland really challenging hard in the air, and it's Conway again who's got up there doing a top-class job, and the referee's seen the infringement, gives the penalty to Ireland.
It's wonderful from Andrew Conway. The kick, the precision of the kick is great, but he's just so aggressive here. You could argue Matsushima is a little bit lethargic getting up in the air. He's got to be stronger there, but Conway's so good at that, and brilliant take again from him. Players just come in from the side there, off their feet. Ireland have the penalty, another great opportunity to attack again, get deep in that Japanese half.
Rin really is beginning to buff it out there. Gale force winds forecast for tonight. Severe gales in the north of Scotland, which isn't too far from here. Ireland's last match was against the USA in July, which they won 71-10, scoring 10 tries to 1. As I mentioned, Ronan Keller, who's about to throw this ball into the line out, scored 4 of those tries. Here he is, one of the dozen Leinstermen in the starting 15 to James Ryan, the former captain of Ireland, Johnny Sexton, the skipper today, and here is Sexton, Bundy Aki, and Ireland looking very smooth out there at the moment. It's all knitting together so well. The handling's excellent. Gibson Park, Ringrose. Oh, he gets through the attempted tackle for Matsushima, and Matsushima's hurt himself in the process. One of the stars of this Japanese team, and they needed that relief there with the turnover. Japan, they're under so much pressure.
Yeah, they're under a lot of pressure. I think Gunter gets the turnover there. Really brilliant work from him. Sexton just a little bit isolated, but they numbered up so much better there, the Japanese. Kept their spacing, and were really aggressive. So they've got their wake-up call. They're 14-0 down, and much more aggressive in defence there from the Japanese there, and in the end they get a great turnover, relieves some pressure. It's a tight channel, isn't it? Sexton throws a little dummy, Himeno and Tamura making the tackle. Gunter gets in a strong position there. Hugo Keenan can't shift him out of there. They're trying to get the full width of the pitch, aren't they, Ireland? Working the little short channels there as well. Just got isolated there. You've got to make sure you have the numbers with you.
Good poach by Gunter of the Wild Knights. The Wild Knights winning the top league in Japan under the coaching of Robbie Deans. You've had a few Wild Knights in your time, Quiddy, haven't you?
Many a Wild Knight, yeah.
Some of those crazy cousins of yours.
Yeah, absolutely. There is no doubt about that, but there's a lot of good players play for the Wild Knights, and there's a lot of them in this Japanese team that know how to play, I think. I see Lafayette there, one of the more experienced players. He had the Japanese players in the huddle. He was speaking a lot to them there. They've got to try and build phases and hold on to the ball, haven't they, a little bit, get themselves into this game.
Yeah, just 24% possession for Japan so far, and it was Nakamura and Lafayette who caused Ireland so many problems in the midfield here in July, and also at the World Cup when they beat Ireland down in Japan, but they haven't seen any of the ball so far.
Japan, come in now, come in.
So Sakati, who was the captain of the Wild Knights when they won that league last season, and again they work a little kinky line out. They know they're not the biggest pack in the world, so they've got to go on special manoeuvres when they can. It's all about speed in their game. And that kick is intercepted by the boot of Hugo Keenan, who follows up then with a tackle.
All right. Double movement there.
Yeah, they're back for a penalty, Robbo, I think.
Offside.
Ireland just a little bit quick off the line there.
Advantage, yeah, offside.
Hindmost foot, trying to get aggressive and really make those impact tackles.
Offside.
They were sloppy here defensively in the summer. Ireland
well, right?
missed 24 tackles, would you believe, in that game.
Whole line.
Japan missed 20, so it was a little bit of sevens rugby that was going on here over the summer.
Yeah, 39-31 that game in the summer, a match that included 9 tries.
Yeah, they were superb tries, weren't they? The accuracy, the offloading. A little bit more pressure on both sides in this game.
James Moore's at the back of the line out. Ireland trying to get amongst them, and they do. And Australia managed to disrupt 4 of the Japanese lineouts in the game 2 weeks ago, and I'm sure we know Ireland would have watched that match very closely.
Yeah, it's, of course they would, and there's so much. It's hard to stop them when you know what they're going to do, Japan, because it's just sublime accuracy and individual brilliance at times. Collectively, then the passing is spot on. Ireland get a chance to relieve them the bit of pressure there. It's an opportunity lost for the Japanese. Tyburn gets up at the back of the line out there, and it's a turnover. I thought it went forward there.
Yeah, watch that game, the Australia-Japan game in Japan, and Justin Harrison, the former Wallaby international, said in commentary that he felt the Japanese lineout was too complicated. So we'll keep an eye on that. Here's Kelleher for Ireland. A good attacking position. Most of Ireland's tries in the Six Nations began with a lineout.
Well, you're talking about overcomplication there. It's just a bullet of a throw there to James Ryan, and look how effective it can be.
Off go the purple people. En masse. Bundee Aki, Johnny Sexton, the space outside. Andrew Conway with a coast to the line. And Ireland's 3rd try. There was masses of space on that right wing.
Yeah, they got very bunched, the Japanese there, but it comes from the maul. The maul from Ireland was so aggressive. They get him going forward. You're on the back foot. You get a little bit compressed. They think Aki is coming short. Watch the speed of the throw from Kelleher. They get that dynamic drive straight away. It's hard to defend that. You compress in a little bit. And watch them. They're quite compressed here. They're watching Aki. It's the pass outside. They get too tight. And that is just a wonderful pass from Hugo Keenan. The accuracy there. And it's another fantastic score from Ireland.
"12 tries for Ireland now, and a flash, 2 more to add to that total today. Began on 10. It's been a really good start in the air and with ball in hand, Andrew Conway. And this is definitely the best I've ever seen Ireland play in bruised burgundy.
I can't remember him playing in bruised burgundy, but I tell you, the Hugo Keenan pass at the end, how often do we see those passes just break down a little bit behind the shoulder, allows the defender to get across? That was right out in front of Conway there. Great accuracy, brilliant, surprising, because as I said at the start of the game, a lot of these Irish players haven't a huge amount of games under their belt, but they've started brilliantly.
A lot of these players lightly toasted, shall we say, in terms of game time, especially the Lions. Johnny Sexton tries to draw the ball back on this gusty breeze. Not this time, but just into the second quarter, Ireland leading very comfortably by 19 points to 0.
That's brilliant, isn't it? That pass, I can't probably keep speaking about that, but he's running onto it as well, Keenan. He's not standing. It's on the run pass. Super.
And Japan beat Ireland 19-12 at the World Cup. Ireland didn't score a point after the 22nd minute. Well, they've scored 19 points up to the 22nd minute this time. And you fancy them after that total today, because they're running rampant against Japan. It's James Lowe again. There's so much accuracy about this Irish performance. The handling's been crisp, the passing very, very forensically accurate, and the offloads as well are sticking, like that one. There's nothing Japan can do about it at the moment, because Ireland are machine-like. Here is James Ryan.
Yeah, it's all Gainland carries as well, isn't it?
James Lowe, oh, what a beautifully timed pass to Conan. He's got Conway, now Gibson Park, who slips into Matsushima. For Ireland here on the cusp of a 4th try. Tadhg Furlong stays really strong on his feet. That's real Lions test class. Carried on by Caelan Doris.
All right, it's a stealing off here, but we had advantage here in the previous breakdown.
Just
offside.
As they were...
It just broke down on them there, didn't it? Just Ireland sealing off.
As they were purring.
Wow,
it's
great
again.
It's brilliant again, isn't it? It's so dynamic, it's aggressive. It's the line James Lowe, and he's loving this, isn't he? A guy who struggled and was omitted from the team last year. Confidence low, but I tell you one thing, he started so well today. He wants to get his hands on the ball. He's such a dynamic player and so effective. People can run off him. That's absolutely brilliant from him. And again, some sublime rugby from Ireland. The Japanese just cannot stop them.
You might remember Ireland scored 2 tries to 1 in that World Cup match in Shizuoka. Ringrose and Rob Kearney. Japan's try from Kenki Fukuoka, and 14 points from Yu Tamura, but a much different time then, different occasion, different result. On the evidence of what we've seen so far, this is Ireland at their, well, close to their maximum in terms of performance in the first 23 minutes.
Are you surprised he's taking his kick, that it didn't go into touch maybe, but maybe they want a little breather and just build the score more.
Remember, Japan beat Ireland and Scotland in those pool stages, but doesn't look like that's going to happen today. A repeat of the victory against Ireland.
And it's these little wraparound passes initially, and then that's a lovely little line, isn't it? He's trying to keep the ball aligned. It's quick, and for Gibson Park, he loves this, and this is what he's really good at. Superb from James Ryan. It's all front foot rugby, isn't it?
They're all staying so strong in contact as well. Seen Furlong do it. James Ryan there, just like this. Oof. Off you go. And again, Ireland sweep forward from the restart. Here's Andrew Porter. Good carry from him. Difficult man to stop at around 19 stones. Gibson Park feigned a little kick, and again they go for the width. James Lowe's a brilliant start. Here is Bundee Aki.
Now release 6. Advantage.
Another penalty against Japan here. Caelan Doris pulls it back from Johnny Sexton.
Take it, sir. Take the advantage.
Fair enough.
Ball, champ.
Yeah, it was Gunter. I think he's a little bit unlucky here. I thought he got his hands in on the ball there.
Flying on in the breakdown.
Referee's saying he's not kind of supporting his weight when he's got onto it. They just can't slow Ireland down, and it looked like Gibson Park and Ireland were set up for a box kick there, and then they just decided to start moving the ball again. It's really difficult for Japan. They just cannot slow them down. They can't control any sort of tempo here, and Ireland are just full of aggression, energy, and really enjoying it.
I suppose it is fair to point out that since the World Cup, Ireland have played 16 test matches. Japanese have only played 3.
It's relevant. There's no doubt about that. It's relevant. And I think probably towards the end of the last Six Nations, I think Ireland would have kind of changed the template a little bit for themselves, particularly with that England performance. We saw a lot of variety in attack, and it's amazing what that can do for the confidence of any team, particularly when there was some criticism a little bit about the kicking game and that lack of expansion, if you like. It sounds a little bit critical, but I think they found their flow in that English game and produced a brilliant performance, and maybe they want to use that as their template going forward. Play with pace, tempo. You can't always do it. It depends on the opposition.
Let's go.
And certainly next week against New Zealand, you know, you've got to be really accurate and really pick your moments when to go for that attack.
Yeah, that was Ireland's last tournament fixture against England here at the end of last season, Six Nations, when they played top-class rugby to beat the English 32-18. Keith Earls and Jack Coden with Ireland's tries, 22 points from Sexton in what was his 99th Irish appearance.
Let's go.
And doing all that despite the fact that they lost Bundee Aki to a red card taken by Byrne in the line out. Sexton again to Bundee Aki. Angles and pace all over the place from the men in the burgundy shirts, and the handling at last lets Ireland down. It's so quick at times, it's almost difficult to keep up with the pace of the way Ireland are playing. It's almost they've adopted the Japanese template.
It's like a training run, to be honest, and Japan just got in the middle of those passes there and stopped that.
Doris, yeah, Japan are way off the pace here. Maybe it's just Ireland making them look poor by the accuracy of their own performance. Johnny Sexton for a tag for another knock on by Ireland, and Matsushima tries to get away, brought down by Andrew Porter. Nagati.
Advantage over.
Tamura going to have to kick here because the pressure was coming through from Gary Ringrose defensively, and that's why Ireland have got the ball back through James Lowe. Here's Bundy Aki, unstructured play from Ireland, and Andrew Conway could be in for a hat-trick here. Oh, and Tamura gets back for Japan. Did he get there in time for his country?
Yeah, I think the pass is forward from Bundy Aki. Somebody had one of his arms.
No try. White's got first, all right? Eric?
Let's hear what they say.
Yes, Nika.
On-field decision, no try.
Yes.
Just check the grounding, please.
Check the grounding. Checking the grounding.
I'm surprised they're not checking the pass from Bundy Aki. It looked a little bit forward, like some Japanese player grabbed his arm. But it's the grounding they're actually checking here. Watch this. Look, he's... Oh, maybe... I think that's a little bit forward. Conway did brilliantly to put that kick there. I think Tamura gets back, doesn't he? Ooh. Whoa! 2 hands, is it? A hand from each player.
White hands, is it?
Tamura, if it is simultaneous, it should be an attacking scrum to Ireland.
You only need to apply a downward pressure here, no control, right?
Nika,
Yes.
there's no reason to overrule your decision.
Yeah, because there's both hands and the white, and also Irish player, so it's no try. No try. White hand in. Goal line dropout. Red 6.
So the referee deciding no reason to switch his on-field decision as Japan make their first replacement of the game. Tokunanga comes on. They've lost Gunter, who's done well at the breakdown so far for Japan, so that's a big disappointment for them. Shuffling off, carrying some sort of an injury.
Time back on.
So it's the goal line dropout. Good idea to knock it wide if you can to prevent the opposition from putting over a drop goal straight away. But Ireland probably now looking for tries, not points from drop goals. Here's James Ryan. Gibson Park to Andrew Porter. Beautiful again. Here's Keenan for James Lowe. Tries to get outside, tackle from Matsushima.
Yeah, fine. No.
Gibson Park does really well to scoop the ball off the turf there. And then the carry from Jack Conan. Gibson Park for Tadhg Furlong, who often plays at that first receiver, auxiliary out half position. Now it's Ringrose to Ryan. It's looking like the Leinster playbook, which it should do with 12 Leinster men on the starting side. Sexton low, and then this time it's Bundy Aki, who fails to gather the ball. Josh van der Fleer, really quick clear out there, showed phenomenal strength. And now Byrne and Furlong working together. And Ireland trying to go through the middle. Here's James Ryan again, running onto the ball at pace. It's all clicking for the Irish right now. It's Porter. All of the players, forwards, backs, front row, back row, Coleman getting involved. Gibson Park again, James Lowe. Yet again, hitting that ball at pace. And they're really hanging on here, Japan. And once again, do very well to get a turnover.
It's unbelievable. They just cannot stop them up to that point. Imeno gets rewarded for getting his hands on the ball, and when James Lowe nearly got away again, it's expected there's going to be a few little mistakes now, and we've seen a couple with Ireland now. They're trying to just really pass everything out of the tackle, and Bundyaki knocked it on a few minutes ago. The ball is hacked through, advantage over, and Ireland go again. So it's so difficult for the Japanese players. They're up on their feet, they're manfully trying to keep defending, but it's just impossible. Can Ireland keep this attack going, and can they keep sustaining it?
Hugo Keenan played every minute of the Six Nations. Nagare follows up, makes the tackle. Keenan, Tamura to Matsushima. Once more forced onto the back foot. Tadhg Furlong makes the tackle. Helped by James Ryan.
Inside the 22.
It's just about surviving for the Japanese here, spending so much of this game deep in their own half.
Advantage.
And they've knocked the ball
First
out.
knock on by Japan. Save from Ireland.
We've got to mention it, Robbo. Matsushima looks up. He sees a tight head prop in front of him. He thinks he's going to step in.
First knock on by Japan.
And what
Save from
happens? Comes off the left, and Furlong puts him backwards. Incredible defender Furlong is. Watch this. Goes back inside.
Ireland. Same thing.
Tadhg Furlong says, no, no, you don't.
Right.
What an athletic tight-head
Just a
player,
small maintain your
prop.
bind
For a
here.
prop,
Sorry,
he's
don't
just
go,
incredible
right?
footwork, and that's great defence.
It's okay. Just it's clear.
You're not getting past the Wexford Bull.
Let's go! Let's go!
Andrew Porter, the loose head side. First started loose head for Ireland. Head full of bleach. Or rather, a hair full of bleach. Hope he hasn't got a head full of bleach. Wouldn't do him any good. Well, Donald Trump did say it was a cure for coronavirus, didn't he?
If you drink it.
Japan celebrate a small victory.
Yeah, it's under Porter. You're just talking about him there. He hinged down there, and it's the assistant referee who's called that.
Six years now since the Brighton miracle when Japan, coached by Eddie Jones, beat South Africa down in English coastal town.
Number 30, please.
Jamie Joseph, now the head coach, helped by Tony Brown, whose mantra is "Let's be awesome." Well, they haven't been too awesome today. Another line-out move from the tactical playbook, and again, really solid defence by Gary Ringrose and Ireland in midfield.
Take the ball.
You know
You're on
what?
the ground.
You
can't
mentioned the
grab
word
ball.
solid defence. That's
You're on the ground, can't
outstanding
take the ball.
defence.
You're on the ground.
It's
No, you're on the
aggressive,
ground.
it's
You can't play the
powerful,
ball.
it's getting your timing right. Lafayette, the ball is over the top. They're looking for pace.
Johnny Saxton trying to go quickly, but the referee's blown his whistle.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
Mark
think
is you
the
tap
players
in front.
initially heard it.
But the Japanese are looking to
Mark is
find
in
some
front.
little bit of a power play there out in midfield, and Ringrose gets his timing perfect, and he's aggressive in the tackle. Lafayette, he's a big man.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, Quiddy. Atsushi Tanaki, the skills coach who came in for Japan in 2016, had the philosophy that speed kills in a rugby sense, and he tried to liken the Japanese to the famous bullet trains down there. Quick, reliable, punctual, reset fast. It seems to be applying to Ireland today, not Japan.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm so pleased with their performance. I think, you know, we saw that at the World Cup. They were sensational, and the Irish game, the Scottish game,
It's okay.
they caused South Africa
Alex,
problems
please,
as
a little
well.
bit quicker, all right?
We know what they can do, but you know, I believe this Irish team have the skill set to play at this tempo and to play with this kind of accuracy. And maybe, as I said, it's confidence from the end of the Six Nations. Look, you can't get ahead of yourself. Japan have probably been poor, and they'll be disappointed with some of the way they've started this game, but they just have struggled to get the ball back from Ireland, and Ireland have profited from that.
Ireland just seem to be playing with so much freedom out there. Sexton again juggling with the ball, so takes the contact.
Tackle!
Loves to play flat on the line, has done right through that 99, now 100 cap career. Ringrose offloads, Gibson Park, and again it was about the power through the contact. Leinster combinations once more, and the Irish scrum half, Jemison, Gibson Park, gets another one for Ireland.
It's a different try, isn't it? It's in tight around the fringes there. Ringrose just accelerates
I'll
through.
call them in the next.
And then the offload. Inagaki just can't wrap him up. As a prop, you've got to make sure you wrap up the player like that. And Gibson Park is there on the shoulder, and it's totally different from what we've seen so far. Bar the offload being at the end of it, and it's just too easy for Ireland.
Well, in contact, when the Ireland are different animals, whether they've got the ball or defending.
And you know what? They've spoke about the impact Paul O'Connell has brought to this squad, and maybe the accuracy and the aggression and the enthusiasm they had under Joe Schmidt when the breakdown, when they got to #1 in the world and won the Grand Slam in 18. It was one of their big strengths. Teams couldn't get the ball off them. They were so dynamic and accurate there at the breakdown, and I think we can't get carried away for sure, but having someone like O'Connell come in, and the players have stated that they've been working tremendously hard around the accuracy and the breakdown, and it's been so sharp in this game so far.
Yeah, great ruck technique under Joe Schmidt. Very low, very aggressive, ruthless. Every man knowing their role. Maybe a word as well today for Mike Catt, the attack coach, maybe seeing some glimpses of what he brings to the table.
For sure. I think he's come under certain scrutiny, and today he'll be really pleased. And his backs, and attack isn't just about your backs, it's about the overall team and the shape has looked brilliant. So look, I keep saying it's going to be a different story next week, but when you're on the front foot and the speed of the breakdown is that quick, it's easier to attack, and it's certainly harder to defend.
Some of the offloading from Ireland has been so sublime, putting players through holes, and that's what accurate offloading does.
513 metres made in this game so far from Ireland. It's incredible.
It's a vast amount. Caelan Doris has the ball.
Again.
Gibson Park to Tadhg Beirne. They go again. Here's James Lowe, and again there's space. Far too much space in the holes in that Japanese defence. And Ireland are rampaging through them. Sexton again. Lowe. Oh, look at that. The whole box of tricks is being opened up now by Ireland. It's psychedelic at times, like the shirts. Here's Josh van der Flier. He really does carry in a much more dynamic way than he used to the Ireland 7 in that old Wesley red head guard. There he is again. Offload to Doris. Here's Sexton. Pokes it through. Porter can't get on the end of it as the ball ricochets off a Japanese shin. James Moore takes it on for Japan, and it's threaded through by Nakamura, but now it's Bundee Aki, his opposite number.
No,
Japan trying to get their hands on the ball there. Didn't manage to achieve it. Josh van der Flier again. Front foot ball for Ireland. The ruck speed is phenomenal. James Lowe on a pass into outer space and goes out of play.
I think he thought there was a winger out there, but he forgot that that's actually his position out there. He's been brilliant. Maybe he thought he was going to pass to himself, but...
Do you remember Brian O'Driscoll did that once here at the old Lansdowne Road?
Yeah, he threw it up in the air, but mentioned Lowe. He's been brilliant, hasn't he? He just keeps popping up, getting over the gain line. Just so much space is opening up, isn't it?
5 offloads from James Lowe in this game so far. And a try. Sakati. Won by Cornelson, the son of Greg Cornelson, former Wallaby Hall of Famer, who famously scored 4 tries once against New Zealand. Not too many people do that. Again, Ireland just fussling away at the breakdown, forcing errors, and Sexton finds Doris. Speed of the clear out again. Johnny Sexton having a wonderful afternoon as 100th cap. You couldn't be behind better ball than he's been behind today.
Yeah, the pack have been brilliant in front of him. And Gibson Park, it's easy when the ball is quick like that. You're not digging for a ball out in front. You have that extra second or two. Get your timing right, run good lines outside. He does the sensible thing there. And he's been involved in a lot of the carrying as well, Sexton.
Time is off. We have the HIA call. Repeat, please, again.
The HIA is
Red.
called.
Red 13 HIA call.
Red 13.
Red
That's
13.
Timothy Lafayette,
Time is
the
off.
Samoan-born centre who had such a good World Cup.
Red 13.
And this is the
HIA
independent
call.
doctor who's calling this, Robbo, which
13. HIA
is
call.
it's not brilliant to see that the player has a HIA or has taken a heavy knock, but somebody's noticed something. The doctor, I don't
I'm
think.
only cold, sorry.
And obviously to be taken extremely seriously, especially after the news this week about Carl Heyman at 41 suffering from early onset
Yeah,
dementia.
exactly. And this is the stuff we want to see. We want to see it identified early, and he doesn't think that he's nothing wrong with him, but the players will nearly always say that and try and stay on the pitch. But I can't be 100% sure. It's either the independent doctor or the Japanese doctor who's called him ashore to get checked.
So Yamanaka comes on, maybe temporarily, and again Allen get in amongst that Japanese line-out. So that's 6 disrupted Japanese line-outs in the last couple of games. Australia now Ireland. Furlong inside to tag Byrne. Gibson Park whips it away again for Johnny Sexton, for Conway to chase and others to chase. It's in the middle of the field, brilliantly taken by Hugo Keenan, and now they really are in behind Japan. Here's James Ryan. He straightens things up for Ireland, and the Japanese trying desperately to reorganise in defence as Porter carries.
Yeah, advantage, no trolling.
Gibson Park, here is Josh van der Fleer, advantage to Ireland. Japanese not rolling. Sexton, oh, and that was arrowed for Conway on a hat-trick.
Yeah, it was just a couple of inches too high, wasn't it? It was worth a try because he was back for a penalty, but
Time is off.
it all started with Conan here at the line-out.
In the last bit of minutes, we
You
have a
mentioned it,
tendency of
great
not trolling.
steal. The kick is superb as well, isn't it? And Keenan just aggressively through the air.
Have a word now, please, with the players. Okay?
Tamura is isolated back there on his own. Great work from him. I think Devin Toner, if you had him on the wing there, he probably would have, if that pass would have suited him.
The tongue of frustration from Andrew Conway there, but as you say, back for the penalty. A chance for Ireland here to move into the 30s before the break. 6 seconds to go on the clock. See if the Irish can get this big, powerful scrum rumbling. There's a lot of beef there. Look at that. Porter, Furlong, Kelleher. It's a super-sized front row.
It is, and it's a front row that can just grow. Kelleher, even his experience with the lines, he caught the eye of Warren Gatland. Such a powerful player, still young. Porter, of course, started at Lucid. It's a little bit different for him going back there after a long absence, but to have Furlong and Porter on the field at the same time is a big advantage for Ireland because they're so aggressive and powerful, both those players.
Jack Conan, Gibson Park, Johnny Sexton. That move was just a little bit sluggish compared to the ones that have gone before. And Ireland have looked so slick.
Japan defended it better. They didn't bite down there in that little wraparound.
Furlong surges into contact. Here's Kelleher, hit hard and low. Great technique. Japanese defence. Porter. Byrne goes in to clear. Furlong round the corner, offside advantage. Here's Doris now. Puts the shoulder in hard.
Yeah, advantage Ireland.
Japan have been hanging on all through this half. They spent so much of it buried inside their 22. And
sailing off.
Sealing again by Ireland. That's the second time in the attacking position that they have done that when they look like they might score a try. So a little bit of frustration there.
Yeah, that'll frustrate a little bit Paul O'Connell. Andy Farrell.
Pick and go by Kelleher. Almost gets there himself now. It's Andrew Porter. Another penalty against Japan. Can Porter get there? He won't. Somebody else might be Furlong. He gets over the line as Furlong managed to grind the ball here. The Wexford Bull.
Right, Eric.
Let's play.
Eric.
Yes, Nika.
Game call. On-field decision is a try because I believe he scored, but we need to check a knock on before. If not, we are going back for original penalty advantage for offside.
On-field decision, a try,
Yes.
checking, no con.
Yes.
It's pretty clear, simple explanation, isn't it? I think if he goes back for the
It's
penalty,
no penalty.
it could be a card coming here.
Yeah, a lot of penalties against Japan there in a short space of time. Oh, did he knock it on there, Furlong? As he drove through those red and white Brave Blossom shirts. Did he get the ball down, in fact? Is there a hand underneath?
I think there's a hand underneath that. We can't see it after that. Didn't knock it on because he kind of probably stayed attached to his fingers. I don't think it's a knock on, but I don't think it's a try. Somebody gets a hand in here.
Nika. Nika.
Yep.
There's a no con by the Irish player, so you can go back to
You
the
said it's a
offside
knock on.
penalty kick.
Eric, have you got the number for offside player there before?
I'll check.
Yes.
Eric Gauzin from France is the TMO.
Still checking, Nika.
Certainly had the more playing time
So it's a no
recently.
try, it's a
Japan,
no con, but
pretty
it's gonna
much
be
the
your
same
penalty.
team that played against
It's a no
Australia
try.
a fortnight
It's a no
ago,
con,
when
but it's
they
gonna be
lost
their
very
penalty.
narrowly to the Wallabies,
They're taking for number
32-23. Australia leading by just 4 points with 5 minutes to go. Wallabies did
Just checking
outscore
the
Japan
number
by
over
5
offside.
tries to 2, though.
7 or 5.
He wants to check who's offside
Yeah,
here.
it was
It's number
5.
2. It's number 2.
Yeah, it's a too many penalties and
picked
it's an
a couple
offside.
of them there.
Yeah, offside there's the penalty. Yeah. So too many penalties.
He could have picked any Japanese player there on the fringe because they were all ahead, but this would be the perfect finish to this half for Ireland if they were to score this, particularly through the forwards.
Well, they've had plenty of opportunities now. Penalty after penalty, just can't manage to finish any of them off. And against 14 men now. So Sakati has gone off.
Who's going off?
They're going to have to sacrifice somebody here to get the replacement hooker Yusuke Niwai on. Just one test start. That was actually against Ireland 4 years ago in Japan.
Japan come in. Who's going off?
Seems to be a lot of confusion amongst the Japanese.
All right, yeah,
Who's
fine, going
leaving
off. Let's go.
the party
Let's go!
temporarily? Laviscagni, the captain, eventually points it around them back. So here we go, Ireland. 5 minutes into overtime, the end of the first half, looking to get into the 30s, into the break.
Hold.
Hugo Keenan standing directly behind Johnny Sexton there. Jack Conan's caught. Does well to get back onto his feet. James Ryan. Josh van der Fleer goes in to help. The knock on by Ireland. They have wasted a whole bunch of opportunities there at the end of that first half. And they will be frustrated that they did not manage to add to the try count. But the first half has been sprinkled with some absolutely outstanding rugby from this Irish side. Really powerful in contact. The offloading and passing game has been really top class. And Ireland lead Japan by 29 points to 0 at the break. Yeah, might do a bit in the second half on the change in the style from Joe Schmidt to we can see the switch over now happening. Oh, sorry, I was talking to Quinny. Very, very early for the start of this second half. Ireland 5 wins in a row on the cusp of 6 now. Ireland made 678 metres in that first half and forced Japan into making 110 tackles. Ireland 9 clean breaks and 14 sticky offloads in the match they played in July. There were 15 offloads in the whole game between the two teams, and I'm pretty sure that 14 offloads in a half never happened under Joe Schmidt. But of course, under Uncle Joe, Ireland played a much different and usually highly effective and successful style. But this style of freedom and flow is so good to watch. And Alan Quinlan, it must be so much fun to play.
Yeah, I think the players look like they're enjoying it. Look, we've got to put it in perspective. I think Japan have been poor. And like I said in the first half there, when the ball is really, really quick, you can run onto it, you can attack. It's difficult, and you know the true test will come next week, because we thought it would come today. I'm sure Japan will improve in the second half and be better, but there's certainly something, a little bit of a spark that certainly surprised me and surprised the crowd today, that Ireland have been really, really good, and they've been on that front foot and very aggressive and accurate in their clean outs, and that's been the template for them. And
just make sure you kick from this field, all right?
Scored some great tries.
4 tries in that first half for Ireland. 2 from Andrew Conway, 1 from James Lowe, 1 from Jamison Gibson Park. Well, can Japan find a way into the game? Ireland 78% possession in that first half. And off goes Conan. Lafayette is back on, having passed his HIA. He didn't feel he was concussed. We think he might have been removed by the independent doctor. So Gibson Park to launch one downfield. The wind, if anything, gaining in strength here at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. Up goes Matsushima.
Japan ball.
I didn't see offloads like this, certainly not at such a rapid rate under the coaching of Joe Schmidt. Joe Schmidt is now the newly appointed support coach at the Auckland Blues. So 3 lineouts disrupted by Ireland in the first half on Japan's throw, and that's worked out. No, it hasn't worked out at all, because it's forward as they try to go to Tokananga at the front.
Not straight.
Yeah, it was crooked, wasn't it? Pretty obvious, and low as well, and it was from the pressure from James Ryan right at that front of the lineout, and just basic errors there. Mistakes that Japan cannot afford.
Craig Miller is on the loose head side for Japan. Scrummaged well when he came off the bench against Australia last week, forced a penalty. Craig Miller from Dunedin, Otago Boys High School, and a qualified accountant. Might need all his fingers to count in this second half, the way things are going. If Japan played the way they did in the first half and Ireland played the way they did in the first 40. It really was exceptional stuff at times. Off goes Jamison Gibson Park down the blind side. Andrew Conway. There's a little bit of space there, but bounces for Ireland. Well played, Nagari.
Yeah, he covered back well. Gibson Park is just... we talk about that confidence and just space, eye for a gap. They brought on both their props. Miller is on, Ivalu is on as well for Japan, number 18. Big man, powerful.
Here goes Kelleher. The Irish lineout has functioned much more smoothly than the Brave Blossoms. See, I knew I shouldn't have said that. Egypt.
Well, there was no gap in that line-out, and I'm surprised the referee, he's really marshalled that too much in this game for both sides.
And trying to hold up, trying to force a rip in contact. James Ryan trying to do the job with 2 men, and Ireland win the penalty. Beavering away in there, really hard.
Yeah, it's Porter, isn't it? And he's good at that. Ivalu, I just mentioned him a minute ago, he just got isolated, spun out of the contact zone there, and Porter just locked onto the ball right in front of the referee.
first time Johnny Sexton's actually played against Japan in those 100 tests. He missed the World Cup quarter-final. He missed the game here in July.
On the line, Japan, please.
It's the lineup where you put the crooks on him. Just got a bit bunched there, didn't they? Timing wrong.
Just goes in like a clamp, doesn't he? Man and ball, Andrew Porter. That's a better line out from Ireland. Then they get the drive motoring very quickly indeed. The dynamism in there. Is that another example of the Paul O'Connell coaching? Certainly has had an effect on this Irish team. Look at them. Rolling and rumbling forward. Now Kelleher carries. Superb front football for Bundee Aki and Johnny Sexton, and that was set up for a rib tickler, and away come Japan, and the referee's whistle has gone. The frustration mounts for Japan. They thought they might have been away for their first try.
Yeah, probably wasn't the right option, that wide pass there. To be fair, Matsushima read it really well, and we spoke about one in the first half from Gary Ringrose where you have a shooter. But how impressive is this? Quick throw, Ryan wins it, and the setup is really good and low, and they get motoring forward. Again, it's so hard to defend that, and it looked like it was going to be another try for Ireland. And that's the pass where Matsushima is out of the line. He's in that space. And he takes Keenan there, but they were back for the penalty.
Yeah, a mistake by Ireland on the line out this time. So their turn to give the ball away to the opposition. And a chance for some relief from Japan. Ireland are relentless in that first half, and they're putting themselves under so much pressure here, Japan.
All right, no advantage.
No advantage, though. Relief for them.
But to knock on, and knowing Paul O'Connell as I do, and that'll really frustrate him. That's two lineouts there. They're the little things that they'll be looking at now, and that's the kind of pressure Andy Farrell, O'Connell, Easterby, Mike Catt would have been putting pressure on. No, it's good pressure from Cornelissen. Oh, is he on the arm there? I think he is. I think it should have been a penalty to Ireland. That was missed. He was on James Ryan's arm. Ryan was complaining. But if they're not picked up, I just think it needed. We're talking about snappy lineouts. That wasn't. It was a little bit slow, that one.
Hold.
McGarry feeds. He'll get rid of this one quickly because the pressure was coming on from that Irish scrum. McGarry to Craig Miller, and he's driven back in contact. Tag furlong. Work rate always high, but Japan get the penalty, not releasing. And they're going quickly here. It's all about the speed and tempo. James Lowe. Maybe could have gathered that one.
Yeah, they would have been coming back for.
Yeah, they would have.
They said it wasn't 10 yards when McGarry takes the quick penalty there.
Offside.
And there's going to be moments like this in the half where Ireland are a little bit frustrated, like the line out there where it probably should have been an Ireland penalty. They've got to, and that's what they'll be looking for, the coaches, how they react to those things that go against them. It was all too easy in that first half.
Ireland just losing a little bit of crispness at the start of this second half, and the drizzle here now in Dublin. Hugo Keenan puts it into space. Will he get the run of the ball? He will indeed.
Well, that's what you call intelligent rugby. He saw a lot of space there, timed the kick really brilliantly, puts Japan right back into their own 5-yard line, and it's a 50-22, which is, I forgot about it for a minute. How good is that, the return? And that's the advantage of Binako with the 50-22.
Superb skill from Hugo Keenan, delivers the ball to Kelleher for the line out. And Ireland this time do not give the ball up to Japan. They're in a very good position here. Better than a good position. Oh, Johnny Sexton! Try time for Turnock Johnny! He gets his 15th Irish try on his 100th appearance. Does it get any better than that?
Nah, It's a special moment for him, isn't it? See the reaction of the players. He's delighted as well. Every one of the players, the crowd are loving it. They weren't going forward in that maul, but they had the patience. Gibson Park just snipes off the side of it, and Sexton rides the tackle and gets over for a wonderful score for him personally. Wonderful moment.
Wow, the noise in the stadium, Quinny. What about that?
Yeah, it's special for him, and he's come in for a bit of criticism the last 2 years. There's always question marks when you get to that age for any player. Ireland have struggled in certain games, and he usually gets the brunt of it. But he's mentally strong, and the disappointment of not being on that Lions tour over the summer. He spoke about, you know, getting a good rest, good pre-season, and wanting to be a part of this team for the next couple of years. Who knows, will it happen or not, but he's looked incredibly sharp today, strong, powerful, and that's a lovely moment for him. He deserves it.
I was listening to Ronan O'Gara on the radio this week, and I think Roger was getting a bit frustrated with questions about Johnny's age. If he's the best player at 36, 37 or 38 in that position, and he's still world class, then he's still world class and the best player in that position.
Well,
Get on with it.
He is the best player in that position, and he's proved that time and time again.
Can he get to 1,000 points for Ireland? Still a bit to go in that respect, but certainly adding to the tally impressively today. Little 7-pointer for Sexton, the captain.
Yellow card is back.
The contest was there again, wasn't it? James Moore this time, and Ireland didn't go forward. Lovely little soft pass, and it was Nagare who couldn't put the tackle in.
Stop, Ireland. Number 7, Ireland.
Smiling assassin. Don't be fooled by the grin. He's a real competitor, as is this man, Josh van der Fleer, who's off. Peter O'Mahony comes on. Just one of the Lions captains on the bench for Ireland. The other one being Conor Murray, who was put into that role after Alan Wynne-Jones suffered his shoulder injury, from which, of course, he recovered and played all 3 tests.
9, use! 9, you have to use it, you got the ball.
Gibson Park clearance from him. Tagburn was told to go down the blind side to offer support. Matsushima, haven't seen too much of his class, and we know he has it in this game. They just haven't had any ball.
Ripped in the tackle play on.
And here come Ireland again, getting their hands on the ball through James Ryan.
I tell you, it was Caelan Doris there. Super steal, an aggressive steal.
O'Mahony tried to shape himself for the offload, and he can be a spectacular offload, O'Mahony, as he showed in the Six Nations last season when setting up a score. Off goes James Ryan again. Furlong sniffing around on his shoulder. Sexton for Tagburn.
Taken beyond.
And a penalty.
Yeah, it was a tackle beyond the ruck there from, I think it was Andrew Porter. A lot of Japanese players had filtered out across the field, so there wasn't much space. You mentioned Matsushima.
Here he is again, Clermont Auvergne player. Snaffled up in contact by Johnny Sexton, of all people, doing his defensive duty as well as scoring tries and kicking his points. Nagari to Moore. Porter makes another tackle. Ringrose, who's defended so well on that outside channel today when he's had to. Haven't had too many tackles from it. Here goes Conan. An offload to Ringrose, and somehow he smuggled the ball away there, Jack Conan.
Knock on in the tackle. In the tackle.
Yeah, a bit of scramble defence there from the Japanese. The ball just goes forward, but
knock on in the tackle.
Great turnover there, Conan. So dynamic as well, isn't he? You mentioned at the Lions tour, what will it do for his confidence? 12 months ago, he wasn't being spoken about at all for Ireland, let alone the Lions. offers so much with ball in hand and aggression. You'd be pleased with that turnover there at the breakdown,
Push him off to right.
disappointed it didn't come to more.
Remember, actually, the last commentary we did together, Quinny, was in Australia. Jack Conan was man of the match, player of the match.
Shoulder square,
And that
steady,
third
guys.
test, Ireland winning the series 2-1. Then things went badly for him. He got his foot damaged at the World Cup, had to fly home. He had a series of injuries, and then all of a sudden he's got 3 Lions starting test bursts under his belt.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's a great story, perseverance. Had those injuries, a couple of injuries after that foot injury as well, and we didn't see him in a Leinster shirt, and the comeback has been sensational, to say the least.
He's probably thinking, how do I get past Caelan Doris, Max Deegan, others, Dan Levy in that Leinster team? When they've got Doris at 6 and Conan at 8, it seems to be working pretty well.
Hold, guys, hold! And use!
And Conan picks up for Gibson Park. Now Gary Ringrose tries to get on the outside of Dylan Riley. The Australian on the right wing for Japan. There's actually 4 centres in the Japanese back line. Well, that's where they normally play for their clubs. Keenan. Sexton, Oyers furlong. Porter outside, needs to time it. Can Porter get it away? There were 2 players to his left. Jamison Gibson Park to Ryan. Colin's away to his right. Bundyaki is on the wing. Here's Keenan. Here's Conway for Conan and Bundyaki. Simplest of steps to the Clonmel Centre. And Ireland crash over again. More heavy metal from the purple people.
Well, they're destroying Japan, aren't they? We see 2 props breaking up the middle of the field. That tells its own story, doesn't it? Offloading, giving passes to each other.
Eric,
Great scramble offence there from the Japanese to tackle
check a touch.
Porter and
Touch, on-field decision.
Aki's at the end of that. Some lovely soft passes. They're just checking this to see was there a foot and touch there.
This one is better.
The sense was in real time that there was actually, that Bundyaki might just have touched the whitewash, but we shall see. No, he's not there, or not there. So, that's a try.
You may roll the try.
Yeah, he's been good, Aki, as well, hasn't he? It's nice to see him get a score in the end. Times when they had to truck it up the middle, he's been very powerful. Put in some big hits as well, but the handling in the midfield again is the accuracy of some of these lines, is the lines they're running and the passes superb.
And the whole front row departs, and the whole front row, in particular Porter and Furlong, have been absolutely superb this afternoon. The defensive work by both props and their handling as well as pivot points and elsewhere. And as offloaders, 19 carries between them.
And that, again, you think, if you have props, Robert, that can carry, that can offload, that can pass.
Yeah, he's off now, yeah.
Okay, their primary job is what? The scrum, line-out, up front stuff. But when you can get them around the field, they can make those carries. It offers so much to the team.
And it makes so much sense to have Porter move back to loosehead, so you get Porter and Furlong both starting at the same time.
At the same time, yeah, absolutely.
Be a lot tougher next week here at the Aviva. New Zealand come to town having hammered Wales last week. Sexton's not really striking all of his kicks that well today. Most have gone over, that one missing. And well, they deserve their rest. Ireland's prop forwards.
Just keep the players now. Late tackle here, offside there.
Lovely hands again. Look at that, the flip pass from Conway. And they've used the width of the pitch so well as well, Quinny.
Yeah, they have, but they've been able to as well, because the speed of the ruck and the forward pack have just blown the Japanese pack away, and we're surprised, we're shocked by it. You know, I was worried coming into this game. I thought the Japanese would really test Ireland today, and maybe we'll be talking next week that they needed more of a test, but it just hasn't happened. They haven't been able to get their hands on the ball at all.
Go back 10, go back 10, go back 10.
Dan Sheehan's come on for his first camp for Ireland off the bench, another Leinster man.
It's rolling.
Not rolling away, Ireland, so penalty. Craig Miller pulls it back to Japan. Can they get a score? Himeno! And he's got support on the outside, and they do get a try through the mighty Tongan all 6'2", 17 stone 5 of Sia Fafita.
Well, Himeno's step here is superb. Ireland just got a little bit narrow there in defence, and he puts in a great step. It's Craig Miller with the little wraparound. Ringrose just got a little bit ahead of the player, started bounding on the feet there, planted a little bit. And watch the step here. And the line, superb, and then he gives the pass. Great finish in the end. We know they can do this. We haven't seen it. This is the first time. 56 minutes gone. It's the first time we've seen it. It's their first line break. And it's a lovely try. It'll give him a lift.
I'm not sure that wasn't Fafita's first touch of the ball in attack. I mean, in July, he had 12 carries, beat 6 defenders, 4 breaks, made 87 metres. It shows you how much this game has flip-flopped from that summer encounter. Attempted conversion from Riki Matsuda, who was the starting 10 against Australia 2 weeks back.
Number 4 and 9, Ireland.
It's a little short line, isn't it? That's what does the damage there. Ringrose just got a little bit ahead. And he puts the pace onto the ball there.
Well, these two lads have played a bit of rugby together. Murray and Sexton, well over 60 international starting tests. Ian Henderson's on. Murray, of course, is the other Lions captain on the field now for Ireland. Henderson's captain Ireland, shows that strength in the bench. 479 caps amongst the replacements. Taken by Cornelsen, off he goes. Little canter forward from Jack Cornelsen. Sayato is on for Nagari.
Yes,
ball's out there, so play on, says the... No, not
you
now.
can't play the 9 though.
And they come in on the side, I think. Peter Manny's
the
on,
9.
yeah. Cian Healy's on
You
as
can play the
well,
ball,
alongside
but not
Ian
9.
Henderson. Cian Healy's been playing on the tight head side.
Yeah, it's an incredible situation, isn't it, to switch across there. And you talk about that experience coming off the bench for Ireland. They won't want to kind of peter out here and hand over the mantra to some of these younger players. Healy and Murray and
Number 19, Japan.
Henderson, he'll want to start next week, won't he? He'll want a big 20 minutes.
Yes, Ian Henderson's had a thumb injury following the Lions tour, so hasn't played a lot of rugby. Still got the thumb strapped. Sakati. Oh, Saito, and it was Henderson trying to come in there with the intercept. And off goes Tatafu with his Japanese samurai top knot. Do not call it a man bun. Get you in terrible trouble with the Japanese.
He's a big unit, isn't he? Strong and powerful.
This is more like it from Japan, playing with that speed and tempo.
No clear release.
No clear release by Ireland, so the advantage being played to Japan. James Ryan holding the player up, but the referee brings them back for that penalty infringement.
Clear.
And this is a period of time now they're getting tested now. Japan are throwing everything at them, getting a little bit of momentum. The whole Ireland react to that. It's going to be a totally different test next week.
Come back,
Hugo Keenan's clearance, and it's a missed opportunity by Matsuda to find a good field position for Japan. They do like to go quickly from touch. They take a quick one from motorway services if the ball went far enough out of play here. That's the kind of game they like. We've seen so little of it today. Sito. Rain increasing, is it more like drizzle increasing in intensity here now. Hugo Keenan, all the tackles have been missed on Riley.
Play on.
Back goes Ireland, Peter O'Mahony just flipping the ball. Lovely little Sleight of hand from O'Mahony off the floor. Back to fellow Munsterman and Murray.
Stays this side, Ireland.
Johnny Sexton, a lot of space in the middle of the field. Here's Fafita. You don't really want him running at you with a 17 stones. Here he comes. Take a bit of that. Oh, what a collision. It was Ian Henderson who made the tackle. Another advantage as Craig Miller folds it forward for Japan.
Go here.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to give Fafita space like that. I'd like if they'd look at that challenge again, because I think there's an elbow up into the face of Ian Henderson there.
Hang on.
Yeah, that's a penalty, and that shouldn't be allowed. You're leading with the elbow there. He doesn't. It isn't all the elbow. It's more of a forearm, but it's very, very dangerous there. They are going to look at it,
as they should. TMO Arigozan has brought the referee's attention to that. Joey Carberry is on. Sexton to Potts.
Well, I'm not sure if they're going to look at it, but Conor Murray is certainly saying it to him about looking at that elbow up in the face. It should be looked at. What an ovation for Sexton. Great game. That try, 100 cap. They're obviously not looking at that elbow, but
another dishevelled looking Japanese line out, then they're hauled away in the touch, and well, the line out's been a bit of a mess all round for Japan. Yeah, I thought that the referee there had drawn had the attention of the TMO drawn to him there, and they were going to look at that challenge on Henderson, but decision is not to.
You can't stay here, you should go in. Sorry? You can't stay here, you should go in if you're in the line out. Oh, mate. Yeah. If you stay, you go back. No, you go in.
So Dan Sheehan on his debut. Only signed his first professional contract in June. Here goes Doris and Coleman hard onto the ball, running a nice little against the grain angle. Murray. Fafita's back there. Conway's been so brave in the air today for Ireland. Challenges for everything. Here's Miller now. Sheehan makes the tackle. Saito. No space on the inside for Japan. Again, deep inside their own half of the field.
Tackle!
And the players off the bench for Japan have made a difference, haven't they?
Stay, you two, stay!
Here's Matsuda. Hugo Keenan, he's seen some space there as he's judged it again so well. He's already had a 50-22 in this game. And he digs those little drill kicks so well.
Great footballer. Lovely balance to his running game as well. He's been a real fight for Ireland, Keenan.
That's fine.
Sakati, former Sunwolves player, 3 seasons with them in Super Rugby. Cornelson, where's Dan Sheehan? Can he get away in his debut for the score?
Advantage over.
Again, they're stinging Japan inside their own 22, and then, well, the ball carried too far, and the penalty goes against Ireland for that.
Yeah, it was Himeno there at the breakdown. He got his hands on it, and Peter O'Mahony was trying to crawl through him there.
You know, the conditions out there now very, very difficult indeed. The wind growing in intensity, the rain falling.
Number 2 off.
It's a great moment for Sheehan as well, isn't it? To get on home debut.
Sheehan, who scored 3 tries for Leinster this season, actually scored a try against Japan for Ireland in the Junior World Cup 3 years ago.
Watch your hand.
And the ball is caught in the wind, and Dan Sheehan is caught in the carry. How did he stay on his feet there? Showed his strength. Here's Doris now.
He fell the full brunt to Tafu there.
Carberry, Coleman, they're getting through these Japanese tackles a little bit too easily sometimes. Here's Henderson, and he gets through Dodgem car style like. Off one attempted tackle, Carberry through around onside.
No, he's okay.
Back there goes Riley, former Australian under-20 international. Where's the bounce going to go here? It goes Riley's way. Saito.
Run away, 21! Hang on. Time is off.
Good reaction, good reaction.
You have to roll away. Captain!
Yeah, there's a good few penalties against Ireland now. At the breakdown, players not rolling away, offside, hindmost foot.
So we've got a tendency now of not rolling and we're creeping up in the penalties, all right? Just say a word, no more penalties, please, eh? Thank you.
James Ryan's taken over the captaincy.
It's gone a bit chaotic, isn't it? Loose kicks, little dinks in behind, offloads, balls spilling along the ground. I tell you, one thing that has changed is the aggression of the Japanese in the tackle, and some of the players off the bench, Tatafu, Ivalu, Miller, they've made a difference. They brought on a bit more anger and aggression. Jimenez come into it more. It couldn't keep going, could have the way it was. It was so, Ireland were so dominant, so they've stopped the run a little bit for a while.
They are not in line out.
Playing for pride now, the Japanese, with 15 minutes left.
Niwai to Cornelson, the line out works. Hasn't always been the way in this game, and off goes Tatafu.
No hands now!
Played against the British and Irish Lions in that game at Murrayfield that began the Lions tour.
Play on. Turnover's good, yeah.
Irish turnover is good again. Bundy Aki. James Lowe, haven't seen too much of him in the second half. He was a star performer in the first 40. Here's Japan's try scorer, Fafita. Now it's Yamanaka. Trying to dance his way past Irish defenders, but Jack Conan makes the tackle. Flat ball to Niwai. And again, trying to turn that ball over and working very, very hard indeed at the breakdown and securing it.
Yeah, it was Henderson that got in there, wasn't it? Tell you, the impact of the tackles has increased. You can hear the thump off them.
Lovely. Come on, Gareth, come on, you're in. You're in, kids, you're in, we're in.
Ireland 12, sub.
Joey Carberry trying to find some form. He hasn't been
Ireland
top
12.
class, I think it's fair to say, for Munster this season, but that was a top class kick.
Yeah, it was, and I think Ireland need him to find that bit of spark. I think obviously going right back to that World Cup with the injury, and he has the talent, as has this man Earls. He's on for Aki.
Time is off. Time off.
Keith Earls, who's brought out a book recently, Fight or Flight,
Reverse of
talks about
HIA.
his
Sub, come in.
issues with bipolar depression.
13 off, yeah.
Really, some really brave
13.
writing in that book from Keith Earls. He also
13,
discusses a floating liver problem that he had, which meant his lungs were working for quite a long time at only 50% capacity. He could hardly breathe on the rugby field for so long, and Earls has slotted into outside centre where he's played for Munster this season. Shearer have lost another line out close to that Japanese line, so more frustration for the Irish forwards and for Paul O'Connell, I'm sure. The line out technician of yesteryear and now the coach.
Offside.
And offside.
Yeah, there's probably 3 or 4 of those lineouts. When you're in a good attacking position like
22.
that, it was a great kick into the corner from Carberry from the penalty, and you're just giving the ball back to Japan. And look, maybe this was to be expected, that the performance would drop a little bit and the Japanese would react and find something that we didn't see at the start of the game. But you know, it's they're looking for O'Mahony. There is a great contest from Cornelson or James Moore there, who's an intelligent line-out forward, but you think you've got to win that line-out, do the basics well. You may not get those chances and opportunities next week getting in there the 5-yard line.
Flat back putting Lavascagne under pressure. Ian Henderson, he's away and dribbling for Ireland. Back goes Saito and he's carried over the line. Great work by the Ulsterman.
Yeah, great reaction from Henderson there. Both sides have gone sloppy in the lineouts now, haven't they? Japan there, not getting anyone in the air. Henderson hacks through, is patient, waits for Matsuda to get the ball, lifts him over that 5-yard line.
Keeps going high and square, right? Steady.
There's actually as many Ulster players in the Welsh 23 to play South Africa as there are for Ireland. Bradley Roberts on the bench for Wales. Who played for the old boys and then came through into the Ulster side. From Durban originally, but has Welsh connections. So just one Ulster player in this 23. 12 Leinster players began the match.
Use it now.
And here's a Munster man in Conor Murray. Ringrose. Oh, nearly. He gets it. He does get there. That was too easy for Ireland. Gary Ringrose allowed to power and punch his way through that rather slack Japanese defence.
Yeah, it was Saito and Labashakni who were putting in the tackle. There was a fair impact to that. Ringrose is deceptively strong. We saw that little pick and go in the first half where he gives the pass to Gibson Park, but he should readily step there, rides that tackle, and his momentum takes him over.
Have a look.
They're having a look at it. They're saying, did he go twice? I think he's allowed to reach out like that.
Try's good.
Takes the impact of the tackle. You're allowed to place it. He did really well there, Ringrose. Nice moment for him as well.
It's his 4th try against Japan in total, scored in the World Cup game a couple of years back.
So 9 has scored a try, 10 has scored a try, 11 has scored a try, 12 has scored a try, 13, 14. But you're just waiting for Hugo Keenan now, and it'll be full house then in the back line. It's unbelievable, isn't it, Dave?
Behind you, please.
You know, with all of them having scored tries in the back line, Ireland have been criticised for not, you know, for their backs not scoring in recent years, but Keenan will certainly want one.
Well, Ireland's record win against Japan is 78-5 in the year 2000, 21 years ago. They're not going to get anywhere close to that. But this has been very impressive all round. Up goes Ringrose again, drifting his way through that Japanese defence. And now Murray to Carberry. James Lowe. Here is Keenan. Can he get the set for Ireland? Lowe into space. He'll want that to stay in play. It's Murray who's off after the ball. Does somehow stay in play. Japan are going to be really careful here. Very careful. They're going to get mashed close to their own line.
Go back, Ireland, go back.
And actually, they've done pretty well here to reset. Lower, have they? Matsushima.
Tackle!
And they might as well go from anywhere. 48 points to 5 down. Greasy conditions now out there. Greasy conditions at the World Cup and the high humidity when Japan made one error for every 31 touches. I mean, their skill set was just incredible in that tournament.
Yeah, the fitness and the intensity they could play with, and it wasn't a surprise they prepared for that, and it wasn't a deciding difference in the end, but it was certainly a factor in that game. Ireland struggled when they had to chase the game. The Japanese just got stronger and stronger.
Ireland are on the cusp of winning their 25th of their last 27 games at the Aviva Stadium, but again, they won't be happy with that.
No, it's another line-out loss, and I think that's really sloppy from them there, and sloppy from Japan putting it through the line. But you know, if you mentioned it there, Robbo, you're getting the basics right. So many good things for 50-60 minutes in this game, but one of the areas that they look back on is the way the line-out just got poor and got sloppy, and just the accuracy and the timing, the space.
They could have Brodie Retallick and Sam Whitelock rolling into Dublin
Really
next
good
week.
job, last
Yeah, as good as you'll ever get anywhere. And
This way, all right?
one of the issues, the gap in the line-out hasn't been policed at all for both sides. I mean, for both sides now. And one fault to the referee, who's done a good job in this game for sure. He just hasn't, and probably hasn't the experience and the confidence to really take control of 2 packs of forwards and get that 1 metre kind of gap down the middle.
think we missed the cadence here, right? And a crouch, then it's fine, basically. But let's go again. Yeah, that's fine.
Latest score in Rome, by the way, is Italy 9, New Zealand 47. 2 tries for Dean Coles. So they're hammering the Italians.
Crutch!
Very much the New Zealand kind of mix and match second string side playing in Rome. Sam Kane back in action wearing the 7 shirt, suffered a lot from injury in recent times. Off goes Conan now, Murray for Conway to chase. Oh, Conway might get on the end of this, will he? Needs to bounce for Conway. Oh, it does! The Munster man gets a hat-trick for Ireland. It's a glorious moment for Andrew Conway.
Well, let's say you create your own luck, and he's created it with his pressure there, and Matsuda, ball just goes through Matsuda's hands. No, it's not Matsuda, it's Nakamura. My apologies to him, but he thought he had it, thought he gathered it up, but the determination from Conway there, and it just sits up, and you've got to be there to take those opportunities, and he's done that brilliantly there. Lovely little deft kick from Conor Murray in behind the Japanese defence.
He's looked really sharp today, has Andrew Conway, in his aerial battles and whenever he's had ball in hand. Pacey too. He just never gave up there, did he? So Carberry with the attempted conversion, 27 points. He scored in July in his 2 appearances. In addition to the overall total there. Johnny Saxton getting that try and his 100th appearance for Ireland. Couldn't have gone much better for the number 10. Saxton showing that he's still the supreme player in Ireland in that position. At 36 years of age, the Tom Brady of Irish rugby. So into the final 5 minutes, and the Irish cross the 50-point barrier.
Go now.
Murray, and it's a knock on by Yamanaka. Sheehan goes down on the ball. Here's Murray. Is there one more try for Ireland here?
Advantage over.
Ringrose, he's looking, well, it's not going to quite have the angle for a 50-22. In fact, it might go all the way. It does. Don't want any of those goal line dropouts. It does force the defending side to do things slightly differently.
Yeah, it does. It makes him play and not kind of slow the game down and just wait for it to anyone to chase him and just touch it down
and then lose the ball, turn the ball over.
Yeah, well, they ran out there. Probably should have been better to kick it, but Ireland wrapped him up there. Doris, we haven't seen a huge amount of carries from him, but he's so effective in the tackle area at the breakdown, and he was central to that.
4th start on the flank for Caelan Doris. He's also had 5 starts at number 8.
Hang on, you did a couple of times.
Which is the territory right now. The impressive Jack Conan. Conan scored 2 tries himself against Japan in 2017 when a number of players came through for Ireland under Joe Schmidt at that stage. 2 years out from the World Cup. Zebo, Earls, Ringrose, Conan, Van der Fleer, Stockdale were all on that tour. That was during a Lions series in New Zealand, you might remember. Conan for Murray. Joey Carberry, little step, gets away from Matsuda.
Hold on. No, there, no. There, it's okay, here. Holding on.
So Ireland penalised for holding on. And a fluffy clearing kick from Ricky Matsuda. Another player who plays for the Wild Knights. Japanese top league winners last season.
Thank you, Andrew.
And Jack Conan's just been announced as player of the match. Richly deserved, one suggests.
Hey, hold!
15 carries for 96 metres. Here's a man who can carry really well, but he gets hit so hard there to Tafu. Wasn't carrying many metres on that occasion. Craig Miller gets hit as well by Finlay Bealham.
Roll now. Yeah, fine. Play.
Tom trying to step inside the new Irish captain James Ryan, and then Craig Miller has the ball bounced from his clutches. Here's Keith Earls, now Hugo Keenan. Keenan's little dummy.
Turnover is good, yes.
Turnover is good, says the referee, and Japan have it back into the final minute. Can Japan get another score deep from their own 22? It would be quite a story if they could. If we could get one from here for feet, again, that 17.5 stone has to be stopped. It is by Dan Sheehan. Goes in courageously to hit his man. Well, they spent so much time in this game, Japan, inside their own 22, and just haven't been able to find the escape hatch. Tackle from Cian Healy, another one of the Centurions on show today. Ireland's most capped prop forward. And here's Earls. Hand comes in from Matsushima. Deliberately knocks it on. So Ireland going to get one more chance. James Lowe goes very quickly for Ireland. Tumbled onto his backside. Bealham. Quick ball again for Ireland. Murray for O'Mahony. Won 7 of 8 tests as Irish captain as O'Mahony. Sheehan in, Tatufa goes to turn the ball over. Another penalty to Ireland, no clear release. Murray to O'Mahony once more. Munster men working together.
Sealing off clearly.
Ireland have sealed off a lot in this game, says the referee. Certainly adjudged it to be that way, but he was playing the advantage.
Wait.
Sheehan carries for the line. Cian Healy looks to add to his total for this Irish side. And Ireland get there again with the clock in the red numbers and put the cap on a mighty fine performance against the Brave Blossoms. A little bit more heavy rock from deep purple.
Yeah, he's so powerful, Healy, from there, isn't he? 9 tries right at the end of this game. A few errors came into the second half performance, but I think none of us expected us this sort of result and scoreline, so they'll be very, very pleased. Great energy, accuracy from Ireland throughout. Identified the space, kept the ball alive. And they'll be very pleased with this.
And Joey Carberry takes Ireland on to 60 points. Cian Healy with his 8th try for Ireland. Man who's played in 14 major finals for Leinster. And what an overwhelming display by this Irish side, putting Japan away quite comfortably in the end. 60 points is really an incredible total against a side that was so competitive in the World Cup, beating Ireland there, beating Scotland there, getting to the quarterfinals. But Ireland setting themselves up nicely for the visits to come. New Zealand next week, who have beaten Italy by 47 points to 9 in Rome, and it's a shattered Japanese side, exhausted, and well, there was nothing they could do today against this force that was Ireland, a force that was Ireland, led by their captain Johnny Sexton on his 100th appearance for his country when he scored a try. And the roars that went around this stadium when he touched down were really incredible to hear. It was a cacophony. So the final score here at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin is Ireland 60, Japan 5. Well, Quinny, what were the parts of Ireland's game that particularly pleased you today?
I think the gain line success, and it's one of the key attributes you need if you want to get a good performance and get on the front foot. to the carries, the aggression, the power game. Defenders beaten as well. They put a little bit of variety into some of that footwork, and then it set the template for that man Sexton and Gibson Park to get their backline moving, and Japan couldn't do anything about it. Now I think they were standoffish, they were a little bit hesitant in some of the aerial collisions and stuff like that early on, and they made some poor mistakes and were soft in the tackle. They changed in the second half and they tried to stop the rot, but it was too late. So a lot of good stuff from Ireland. It'll be different next week. It's a different challenge. They won't get it this easy, and as I said, I'm surprised by Japan. I really kind of was nervous coming into this game. I thought they would put it up to Ireland, but a very, very clinical performance from Ireland, and that's all they can do, what's presented in front of themselves, and hope that they can take stuff out of this game and have a realization that it's going to be really difficult. Getting the minutes under the belt and some continuity has been really good for him as well.
Jack, congratulations.
Thank you.
A winning start to this All-In series, and an impressive and enjoyable afternoon for Ireland. An impressive and enjoyable afternoon for you out there.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's great to have the fans back in the atmosphere and hear the noise. I don't think I've ever been a part of noise as loud as when Johnny went over in the corner, so that's something that was incredibly special, and great to mark the big man's big day with a great win and a great performance.
And Ireland today really impressive in attack and that pace. A different approach?
I think we're just back in the skill set that we have and the ability of the players that the coaches have picked, and it was pretty evident there today that we trusted ourselves and we were playing into holes and playing into space, and it's a really good start to the campaign.
And this pack that you're part of, this Irish back row that you're part of, is really clicking well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think pretty mobile between the three of us, and then obviously Pete coming on, adding his versatility and his ability in the line-out and stuff, which is great. So, we're pushing each other the whole time and getting the best out of everyone, which is great. So it's onwards and upwards now.
It really whets the appetite, doesn't it, for the big visitors we have in the All Blacks next week?
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a good start. So we'll have a look during the week and we'll fix up on things we didn't get right, and we'll go again next weekend.
Well, congratulations on your performance today. You are the Vodafone Player of the Match, and your captain Johnny Sexton
Cheers.
will make the presentation. Johnny, congratulations. You're a pretty popular character around here today. A special afternoon. Special afternoon for you.
Yeah, it was. It was an incredible day for myself, for my family here. I think every single one of them is here. Most of them came up from Kerry as well, and just the reception I got. That try in the corner was one of the best moments of my career by far. I'll never forget it.
So many special moments, and so lovely for you to be able to do it at home in front of the crowd, as you say, with those nearest and dearest here.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel a little bit guilty over the last 2 years with no crowd, and guys like Cian Healy, who got his 100th cap in an empty stadium. I had great friends, Rob Carney and Ferguson McFadden, who retired in an empty stadium. And for me to get the chance to do this today, I do feel a little bit guilty, but I will remember it forever. So thank you very much to everybody.
They certainly think you deserve it, and some really special moments for you to look back on today, and a great start to this series, and seems like a great new attacking style for Ireland today.
Yeah, it was a good start. We know there's a bigger test ahead next week, and I know we're going to have a full house here, and I can't wait for it now. The support was incredible today, but I know next week they'll go up a notch again, and we can't wait. It's going to be a big test for us.
And 12 years on, you're still loving it, still pulling the strings for Ireland?
Still loving it, thank God. And I need a little bit of luck to get to this age playing this game. But loving it for the moment, and just want to thank my teammates for the week they put together for me. It was something I'll never forget. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, Johnny.
Just from Japan, Jared, we really want to congratulate you on this massive feat. You've been a great ambassador for rugby for a long time. Representing your country for 100 caps is something special. And from us, we want to present you with this.
Presentation from the Japanese captain Peter Lavascagni to Johnny Sexton. A hugely emotional Johnny Sexton on his 100th appearance, and the entire squad is waiting for him to walk down a tunnel of celebration. Here is Peter Lavascagni now in interview for our World Feed.
Lappy's a lovely moment there and a lovely presentation you made to Jonathan Sexton, obviously a player you admire.
Oh, it's really special playing 100 games. I think it speaks for itself. He's been a great ambassador for rugby for a long time, and today he deserves all the accolades that comes his way.
Obviously a disappointing afternoon for you and your teammates. It was just very tough for you to find a way into this game.
Yeah, I think disappointing doesn't even start to describe how we're feeling. It hurts right now, putting in a lot of hard work, and then obviously coming here. But the Irish team really played good rugby. They put us under pressure right from the first minute. We just couldn't get our feet, and then they just kept on heaping up the pressure on us.
You do have a couple of more games to come in the autumn, and I know you want game time very much, so you will take something and move on.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
I'm just wondering, you have 2 more games to come, so you will use those opportunities to develop?
Yeah, definitely. First off, we need to learn from this game. We need to be better, but we can't sulk on this game for too long. We need to focus on the next 2 games. Portugal being the next. We can't look further than that. And then make sure we're ready for that up and going.
Thanks, Lappies.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.